The desert wind clawed at the sandbags, a restless spirit whispering secrets only the dying knew. Sergeant Major Elias Vance gripped the satellite phone, the cold metal a stark contrast to the sweat slicking his palm. Static crackled, a miniature lightning storm in his ear, mimicking the storm brewing in his gut. He shielded the mouthpiece, his breath misting in the frigid night air, the vast emptiness of the Afghan landscape stretching out before him like a canvas painted in shades of gray and black. This was it, the final call. The air hung thick with anticipation, heavy as a shroud. He cleared his throat, the sound rough and unfamiliar, a stranger's voice in his own ears. He looked up at the sky, a bruised purple dome speckled with a million indifferent stars. They seemed impossibly distant, detached from the chaos about to unfold. He wondered if she was looking at the same stars, if she was thinking of him. He pictured her face, her smile, the way her eyes crinkled at the corners when she laughed. A pang of longing, sharp and sudden, pierced through the numbness that had been his constant companion for months. He squeezed his eyes shut for a moment, trying to hold on to the image, to imprint it on his soul, a shield against the darkness that loomed. This call wasn't for him. It was for her. It was for them. The static cleared, a fragile connection bridging the thousands of miles between the war-torn landscape and the quiet comfort of home. The ringing tone echoed in his ear, each pulse a hammer blow against his resolve. He imagined her reaching for the phone, her brow furrowed in concern, her heart already sensing the unspoken. He could almost feel her presence, a phantom warmth against the chill of the desert night. Please, answer. Please be there, just one last time. Hello? Her voice, a soft melody carried on the digital wind, cut through the static, a beacon in the encroaching darkness. He closed his eyes again, relief washing over him in a wave so intense it almost buckled his knees. That voice, it was the sound of home, of safety, of everything he was fighting to protect. He swallowed hard, trying to dislodge the lump in his throat, the words suddenly caught, trapped behind a wall of emotion. "Hey, sweetheart," he finally managed, his voice raspy, barely a whisper. "It's me." He remembered the first time he saw her. It was a summer evening, fireflies dancing in the humid air, a scene ripped straight from a movie. He was fresh out of basic, still green behind the ears, and she, incandescent. She was laughing, her head thrown back, her hair a cascade of sunlight. He was instantly, irrevocably lost. He'd been drawn to her like a moth to a flame, mesmerized by her effortless grace, her genuine warmth. He'd tripped, clumsy and awkward, nearly spilling her lemonade. She'd laughed, a tinkling, melodic sound, and offered him a napkin. That small act of kindness, that simple gesture of understanding, had sealed his fate. They spent the rest of the summer inseparable. Long walks by the river, whispered secrets under the starry sky, stolen kisses in the moonlight. He learned about her dreams, her fears, her unwavering optimism. She taught him how to dance, how to appreciate the beauty in the mundane, how to truly live. He'd never felt so alive, so complete. He told her everything, every insecurity, every fear, and she listened without judgment, offering only encouragement and unwavering support. He felt like he could conquer the world with her by his side. And then the summer ended. He received his orders, his deployment looming like a dark cloud on the horizon. He remembered the day he told her, the silence that followed, heavy and suffocating, the tears that streamed down her face, silent and heartbreaking. He'd promised her he'd come back. He'd promised her forever. He'd sworn on his life that nothing would keep him from her. He wondered if she remembered those promises. He wondered if she still believed them. He remembered their wedding day, a crisp autumn afternoon, the air filled with the scent of fallen leaves and the promise of forever. She was radiant in her white dress, her eyes sparkling with joy. He held her hand tight, his heart overflowing with love and gratitude. He meant every word. He still did. Elias? Her voice, laced with concern, pulled him back to the present. Are you okay? You sound different." He took a deep breath, trying to steady his voice, to mask the fear that threatened to consume him. He couldn't let her hear it. He wouldn't. This wasn't a goodbye. This was just a call. The line crackled, a hollow echo of the storm brewing inside him. "Listen, Sarah. There's something I need to say. Something I should have said a long time ago." He paused, the enormity of what he was about to do pressing down on him like the weight of his gear. I love you, Sarah. More than anything. More than this uniform, more than this duty, more than life itself. I always have." The silence on the other end was deafening, punctuated only by the static and the frantic thumping of his own heart. He imagined her, sitting in their small kitchen, the yellow glow of the overhead light painting her face in a soft, familiar warmth. He pictured the way she would bite her lip when she was concentrating, the way her eyes would crinkle at the corners when she laughed. He clung to those images, desperate to etch them into his memory before the darkness consumed him. I know I haven't always been good at showing it," he continued, his voice thick with emotion. "I get so everything. The training, the deployments, the pressure, but beneath all that, it's always been you. You're my anchor, Sarah. You're the reason I want to come home." He swallowed hard, the lump in his throat almost choking him. If things go sideways out here, I want you to know that I went into it knowing I was loved, that I was fighting for you, for our future." He could almost hear her breathing now, shallow and rapid. He knew she was crying. He wished he could reach through the phone line and hold her, comfort her. But all he could offer was his voice, his words, his heart. Don't let this break you, Sarah. Live your life, find happiness, and please, never forget me." The order to move out blared over the comms, a brutal intrusion into his fragile moment of connection. "I have to go," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I love you, Sarah. Goodbye." He disconnected the call, the click echoing in the sudden, stark silence of the armored vehicle. He closed his eyes, a single tear tracing a path down his cheek. He had said what he needed to say. He was ready, or as ready as he would ever be. The Humvee lurched forward, joining the convoy snaking its way towards the unknown. He stared out the window, the landscape blurring into a monochrome canvas of sand and shadow. The fear was still there, a cold knot in his stomach, but it was tempered now by a sense of peace. He had confessed his love. He had made his peace. He was no longer just a soldier. He was a man fighting for something bigger than himself. The explosion ripped through the night, a blinding flash followed by a deafening roar. The Humvee bucked violently, throwing him against the armored plating. The world dissolved into chaos, screams, shouts, the acrid smell of burning metal. He felt a searing pain in his leg, a sharp, agonizing stab that threatened to overwhelm him. He tried to move, but his body refused to respond. He was trapped, pinned beneath the wreckage. He saw the flames licking at the edges of the vehicle, the fire growing closer, hungrier. He closed his eyes, waiting for the end. He thought of Sarah, her face etched in his mind, her love a beacon in the encroaching darkness. He whispered her name, a silent prayer on his lips. Then everything went black. Years later, Sarah still wakes up in the middle of the night, drenched in sweat, the echo of that last phone call ringing in her ears. The static, his voice, the finality of his goodbye, it replays in her mind like a broken record, a constant reminder of what she lost. She reaches for the empty space beside her in the bed, her fingers tracing the cold, smooth surface of the sheets. The emptiness is a physical ache, a constant companion. The world has moved on, but she is still stuck in that moment, tethered to the past by a thread of grief that refuses to break. She goes through the motions of life. She works, she eats, she sleeps. But there is a hollowness inside her, a void that can never be filled. She tries to find joy in the small things, the warmth of the sun on her skin, the laughter of children, the beauty of a sunset. But even these moments are tinged with sadness, a reminder of all the things she can no longer share with him. She visits his grave every week, a small patch of green in a vast, silent field. She brings flowers, his favorite, sunflowers, bright and cheerful, a stark contrast to the somber atmosphere. She talks to him, telling him about her day, about her struggles, about her hopes and dreams. She knows he can't hear her, but it brings her a small measure of comfort, a sense of connection to the man she loved. Sometimes she wonders what life would have been like if he had come home. Would they have had children? Would they have grown old together, their love deepening with each passing year? These thoughts are both a comfort and a torment, a glimpse of a future that will never be. She has tried to move on, to find love again, but she can't. He is still there, a ghost in her heart, a shadow that follows her wherever she goes. No one has ever measured up. No one ever will. She keeps his memory alive, telling stories about him to anyone who will listen. She wants the world to know that he was more than just a soldier, more than just a statistic. He was a son, a brother, a friend, a lover. He was a good man, a brave man, a man who deserved to live. She clings to those memories, those stories, because they are all she has left. They are the fragments of a shattered life, the pieces she has carefully pieced back together, trying to create a semblance of wholeness. She knows that she will never fully heal, that the scar of his loss will always be there. But she also knows that she is strong, that she can survive. She owes it to him, to live her life to the fullest, to honor his memory. She will never forget him, never stop loving him. He will always be a part of her, a piece of her heart that will forever belong to him. And in that, she finds a small measure of peace. The final call, a painful memory, but also a testament to a love that transcended even death.